Good evening, I am Brady Alderson, and the Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. The Huskers soccer team remains undefeated after picking up their third straight draw this weekend, moving them to 5-0-5 on the season. All three of Nebraska's Big Ten matchups have now ended in a tie. The 5 draws for the Huskers ties for the most in program history. Nebraska will look to stay unbeaten this Thursday as they head back home to host the Michigan Wolverines. The top-ranked Huskers volleyball team completed non-conference play this weekend with a sweep of Arizona to improve to 10-0. The Cornhuskers are one of just 2 Big Ten teams that will enter conference play undefeated. Nebraska will begin their quest to win their third straight Big Ten regular season conference title on Wednesday at 6 p.m. when they welcome the Michigan Wolverines into John Cook Arena at the Bob Devaney Sports Center, and you can catch all the action right here on HRN. Beginning today was the Get Her Done Invitational, hosted by the Cornhuskers men's golf team at Firethorn Country Club. Tee times began off 1 and 10 tees this morning, en route to players completing 36 holes by this afternoon. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., play will continue in the same fashion as the field will complete their final 18 holes of the 54-hole tournament. Nebraska is coming off a 4th-place team finish last week and will look to continue that success this week. The Sports Ticker was brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Coming up next is the first hour of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down. 2 wide each way, Underwood out of the gun. Marshall, the running back right. Takes the wayside snap, 4-man twisting rush. Underwood under pressure, ball's loose, it's picked up. Deshaun Singleton was in the area, beanbags on the turf. They stripped it. Black shirts get it done and get the takeaway. Snap to Rhule, rolls right, looks downfield to the numbers. Rhule plants, launches, far right side of the end zone, jump ball. Was it caught? Was it caught?
Unreal.
Touchdown, Huskers! Jakari Barney on a prayer. 52 yards.
Line drive serve is in. Pass by Harper. Set middle. Rebecca for the match. She got it. Call the grandkid. Nebraska wins another in 5 over Creighton. The Big Red remains perfect. 9-0 in 2025.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Tough one for Husker football as they suffer the first loss of the season. I don't know how to act. You know, all we've done is win.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes that's you got to deal with it on a Monday. A little bit of a gloomy Monday, but you know it's a long season.
Yes,
there's a lot of football left, as we all know. The sky is not falling. Michigan's a good team. Nebraska is still a good team, but there's things that sometimes that you put on tape, or you have some flaws that get emphasized when you're not playing the Akrons or the Houston Christians. And I think Michigan's a little better than we thought. I think we read a little bit too much into the game against Oklahoma, probably. They're very good at the line of scrimmage. I think there's some question marks at the line of scrimmage for Nebraska. The good thing is that this loss comes at a time where you have the opportunity to have a full bye week and then get back to it against a pretty solid Michigan State team, and you'll be back at home.
402-413-2400 is that number. The phone lines are open for you. You can text in as well. We'll be taking your text and phone calls here over the next couple of hours. We're going to be joined by Damon Benning coming up in hour number 2. Going to hear from Marquis Watson Trent. He was our Cornhusker conversation over the weekend, so we'll bring you a little bit of that here coming up. And Matt Rhule met with the media earlier today. Even though it's a bye week, there's no coordinators, no players available, but Matt Rhule did have his weekly press conference here today, so we'll play a few of the clips from that as well. But again, 402-413-2400. And right away, here's one for you. Is that the loudest sports environment, Kyle, that you've been a part of?
It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there for sure. I don't know. I could ask you. You would know where that stacked up with Colorado last year.
Colorado was louder.
Yeah.
It was louder. And I think now there were times where it was loud, like at the beginning, and then when Michigan was backed up during their first drive that caused the false start, it was pretty loud back there. But I think from start to just the way that Colorado, the Huskers came out against Colorado and punched them in the mouth, and then they just like kept going, and there was a interception return for a touchdown, and it just, and the kind of history and tradition behind Colorado. I think a little bit with what happened on Saturday, maybe a little bit of the wind out of the sails were let down by that first drive not resulting in a score. You know what I mean?
I think part of it is dependent on what happens in the game, right?
Yeah.
If you finish that first drive, you had a couple of those really big plays. I can think of the one where Dillon is scrambling in the pocket, rolls out to his left, and then throws back across his body, and Luke Lindenmeyer's wide open, makes the catch. You know, the place is super loud at that point, and if you convert a 4th and 2 and you had the shovel pass to Luke, you come up short, your wind's taken out of your sails when you're not able to pick up that 4th down or at least get any points. But not getting a touchdown on that opening drive would have been a nice tone setter for the crowd. There were a lot of things, especially in the second half. I could think to the 16-play drive that Michigan had.
Yeah,
where,
that was killer.
Third down after third down, third and longs too. I think their average third down distance was over 8 yards.
In a 9-minute drive, when they get the ball back and you're like, okay, this is, but then it just, the longer that it went, you're like, oh boy, this is not going to be good, because then you get down 10 as they get close enough to kick that field goal. And while Nebraska did hold them to a field goal, you still have to now score twice in what, 2.5. When did they get it back after that?
Yeah, I'd have to think.
By the time they scored, there was only about 96 seconds left or something. And so then it took where it was to the point where you had to recover that onside kick. And so it just, I think that ultimately, not being able to get off the field. And then, I asked Coach about this in the halftime interview, but you take away those 3 pretty big plays and it's a different story. And while that's part of it, I go back to, and I didn't say this on the broadcast, but I was telling you guys that after the interception there, because the way that the defense talks about, they send different guys out there to start, and so they're starting their communication process right of who's going out there and what they're going to do and all of that. And while yes, you have to be ready any given situation, but Nebraska had picked up a first down, and then you quickly throw an interception. It was like scramble mode for the defense to get out there, and then it was right after that Bryce Underwood runs the big touchdown score. So I felt like, when you talk about complementary football, and I think probably the offensive players, just the conversations that I've had with those guys throughout these first couple of weeks, I think they'd say, hey, yeah, the defense has got to make a stop in that situation, but that was partly on us, like our bad for putting you guys in that situation.
And there was some positive, I think, in the game. There were certain moments within the game where it could have been Nebraska of old, where they don't come up and make a play, and I don't think that necessarily was the case. So you mentioned, okay, Dillon throws that pick, and then they get the next play, 37-yard touchdown from Bryce Underwood, and then Nebraska goes 3 and out, but then you get the fumble. Elijah Judy's able to strip that thing free, and then you go down, and then you're able to get some points out of it. I believe that's what turned into the Ja'Cory Barney touchdown on that play. I could have the timing of that wrong, but you're able to get points off of that next drive.
Yep.
And then you get the Hail Mary going into half, so you give up the big play going into half. You're down 17-10. I think that was after the Ja'Cory Barney touchdown. They come back, and they get the 75-yard rip for a touchdown. You go down 7, and then all of a sudden, you can call it luck, you can call it this. It certainly was bad time management from Michigan to not call a timeout, force Nebraska to punt. Instead, you get that opportunity near midfield, and you capitalize. It's something they rep all the time. And so there were certain areas within that game, even late in the fourth quarter, right? Yeah, you took too much time. There wasn't a whole lot of time left, but Heinrich Harburg's able to make that catch for a touchdown. You're able to drive down the field, at least have an opportunity for an onside kick in a field goal game. So there were certain elements within the game where you took a right hook, but you were able to respond, which was good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you this, I mean, I've been on that sideline, that there were times that some of those things happen, you go down 10-0, or some of the things that happen, it wouldn't have been as close of a battle. I'll just tell you that. I mean, there have been times even you go back to, Coach Rhule brought this up against Michigan, was it last year 2 years ago, they ended up practicing. And the day after, had a really hard practice and felt like they just didn't respond when Michigan punched them in the mouth. And so there have definitely been times that when some of those things that happened early on, this team might have folded, but they didn't. They kept battling back. And so someone just texted, and I think the early missed field goal was huge. I mean, it's in a one-score game. Unfortunately, we've had this conversation multiple times here over the last 4 or 5 years. It's one play, it's one play that's a difference, and there were several one plays that you could point to that flips this thing around.
Yeah, and it's not just whether it's a missed field goal or Isaiah Hunter going out of bounds.
Right.
That's 6 points right there where he wasn't covered and just didn't necessarily know where he was on the field. And look, that happens. Michigan dropped a touchdown on a trick play. And then they dropped a touchdown on a dime that Underwood threw, I think, a few plays later on that same drive. So both teams had missed opportunities early. I think you look at it too, missed assignments, missed run fits, missed tackles. We'll hear from Damon later and get his thoughts, but there were a lot of opportunities in open field to make plays. Michigan did.
Yeah.
Defensively, Nebraska did not. And I mentioned the 16-play drive. A lot of those came on that drive where you had guys 3 or 4 yards downfield and it turns into a 20-yard gain. And in the end, in the Big Ten, that's going to be a huge difference. Who can make those plays, not just the physicality at the line of scrimmage, but when you get to the second level, can you bring that guy down? Sometimes it's athlete on athlete. And Nebraska had a chance to make those plays that could have been game changers. Didn't make them in week 4. Maybe they make them come up Michigan State game.
Yeah, and I know a lot was made of the offensive line as well. 7 sacks. I mean, I think the offensive line will be the first to tell you we can't let that happen. But I think maybe some of it was when it started happening earlier than they got in their heads. I mean, I want to say it was Rocco Spindler that I was talking to after the game that said that we got away from our technique. Because we were on our heels and we were not doing things how we were supposed to because it had happened. And then we can't. You got to have that next play mentality. And I think for the offensive line, there were a lot of the position groups, a lot of the players that they did have that next play mentality. I don't know if the offensive line could honestly say that they did have that next play mentality on Saturday.
Yeah, it was certainly an issue with the tackles. The way Michigan had set up, they had a lot of those wide edge players, and Jayshawn Barham, who's one of the better pass rushers I think in the Big Ten. When it's all said and done, they moved him to an edge position, and Nebraska had a lot of issues in blocking those guys coming from the outside. Sort of what Nebraska has is those jack position guys, stand-up edge rushers, had a lot of issues. I would say they held up in the guard positions, at the center positions. There was more opportunity for Dillon to maybe step up. But when you give up 7 sacks in this league, and there were, I think PFF put out there were a total of 36 pressure plays, so getting Dillon off his spot, right? That's a massive number.
Yeah, and then that gets into your head a little. I mean, it, as good as Dillon was, there's it's just human nature. It's going to trickle into your mind when you're running for your life a lot of the time.
Yeah, and look, Michigan's one of the better teams, I think, front 7-wise in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So you factor that in as well. Is Michigan State going to provide the same amount of pressure? I don't know. If they do, then yeah, you have an issue. Then you have to look at, okay, do we have to keep it back in more, keep a tight end at the line of scrimmage, max protect more for Dillon? Those are questions that are way above my head, and people get paid a lot of money to figure out the answers to that. And now you have a question mark too, that when you talk about that number 2 running back and taking Emmett off the field, that limits what you can do in pass protection as well. So there's a lot of questions that come out of it. I don't think anybody thought, at least if you did, you're wearing a lot of Nebraska-colored glasses, that we wouldn't have questions, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a long season. You're going to have questions. You're going to have down moments. You're going to have games and moments within games that you're scratching your head. And there were moments during the game where, especially at offensive line play at the tackles, it did not look good. They know that. They see the film. They played the game.
They said it. I mean, they take ownership of that.
But I think Lutowski, Evans, Spindler, I think they played well. And look, Dillon, we don't talk about him enough, right? Because of you just see you see the interception, and there's a lot of blame that goes to the quarterback. But you look at what he did, being sacked 7 times. 30 completions, threw the ball 41 times, completed over 73% of his passes, threw for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's playing at an elite level. So if I'm going to take away a positive amongst other things, I think The coverage downfield, once again,
Yes.
we saw from the DBs, are they going to be tested from a pass coverage standpoint? Are they as good as we thought? I think the answer to me is yes.
Yeah, and I mean, still only 105 receiving yards for Michigan, which is look that secondary they did a pretty solid job there on that front. To your point about maybe not giving Michigan enough credit and maybe investing too much into that Oklahoma game. That and Coach Rhule said it. They've got really good players. They're really good up front. They make it really challenging. And while there might be some things now on film for some teams to tackle, I don't know if we play as good of a front maybe until Penn State, right? I mean, I think if you just on matchup terms and just the talent that Michigan has up front, I mean, is there a team looming that has that kind of talent?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know, and I have to go back and watch some of the other games to figure that out. I think to that point, Michigan is elite in their front seven.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to play a guy like Jayshon Barham and Derek Moore and some of those guys that we saw from the pass rushing position, from the linebacker position, and that front three that Michigan had. I don't think you're going to play a lot of guys that you saw on Saturday. So, again, especially right away, the way that Nebraska set the tempo for me, it felt, and I understand the added kind of feeling to this, of feeling down about it, because the stage was set, right? Ranked team. You had that record out there. They hadn't won in 27 consecutive games against a ranked team. You have the coach, you have the quarterback, you have the home crowd behind you. The team is playing at the peak of their powers, defensively, offensively. You had already beaten a Power 4 team, so the stage was set. CBS was in town to make that national statement, and you come up just a little bit short. I could tell you from somebody who's just parachuting in now to Nebraska that this program has taken massive leaps. You think the last time Michigan was here, right? They lost 40. Nebraska lost 45-7. You see where they are now. It's still not where they want to be, but it's taken massive leaps from year 1 to year 3.
And I'll say this too, and I know someone just chimed in. How long are we going to use the excuse narrative? We won't see a front seven like Michigan again. I mean, we will. We will see that at some point. It's just, I think, in the next few games. But I will say that I like this coaching staff to dive into the film and make the necessary adjustments for maybe some of those weaknesses that they were maybe exposed a little bit for on Saturday.
Yeah, they will. And again, that's the timing of the bye week here, I think, is a good opportunity for this team to reset. One guy I do want to shout out, Ja'Cory Barney. What a game for him. And he took a pop towards the end of the game that was originally called the targeting, but the way, of course, caught the Hail Mary, but caught the other touchdown pass and what was a dime thrown from Rhule. But, we talk about Dane Key coming in here and Isaiah Hunter. You like to talk about some of the new toys, but, Ja'Cory Barney, he ain't a one-trick pony. He could do so many things at a high level, and, he almost, if he didn't get tripped up on his own feet, probably would have taken a punt return back to the house. So, big day for Ja'Cory Barney.
The texter rolling in furiously now. Irvin Schuyler said, Dylan needs to get rid of the ball faster. He won't have time. Let me see this. Sorry, it's taking a little time to pull up. He won't have time for 3 reads the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Dylan, and I'll have to go back and watch the game again, but his feel of the pocket, probably some of those sacks come down to him having to have a little bit more of a sense of urgency and a better feel of the pocket. But, some of those rushes that were coming down on him, I mean, they were a split second and they were on him. I think the good part is the interior portion of the offensive line, the 2 guards and the centers, probably gave him more of an opportunity to step up in the pocket and just get rid of it a little bit sooner.
And 43 yards will not get it done in the Big Ten. Please don't sugarcoat the game. We're not sugarcoating it.
Well, a lot of those are from sacks.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, you have 7 sacks. That negates a lot of that, the rushing yards, Ken. And then one more, Greg and Lincoln said, thank you, Kyle, for telling it like it really is. Honestly, says Greg.
Thanks, Greg. A lot of people don't think I'm honest, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, we just heard one that said we were sugarcoating it, so that's all right. That's all right. We love to hear it. We appreciate the text rolling in.
Let me say this. I get it. I understand it because the stage was set. The season ain't over, though. Let's not make it feel like we should just pack up the season and get ready for next September either. You lost by 3 points against a team that is really darn good and could fight for a Big Ten championship and a spot in the playoff. Again, excuses. I understand. But I'll say this. You got the quarterback, you got the playmakers, you got the horses. There are adjustments that have to be made. Defensively, up front, it was not good enough. Everybody knows that. It was not good enough. It has to be better. There were a lot of instances where the defensive line was blown off the ball. It has to be better. You have to play more physical in the run game. Everybody knows that. It's up to Nebraska and to these coaches to make those adjustments. And from my experience and being around this program and these guys, they will.
Appreciate the text rolling in. We like the interaction here on this Monday night edition. Count on Medica to protect your team with affordable group health plans, flexible benefits, and the close-to-home care they want. Husker Nation, you're not just covered, you're cared for. Learn more and get a quote at medica.com. We've got to get to a break, but we'll answer a couple more of your texts, and we'll hear from the head coach, Matt Rhule, coming up next here on Sports Nightly.
Red 31. Hey.
Defend your network like a champ with Hamilton Business Technologies. From end zones to endpoints, our cybersecurity solutions keep your business and your data protected from online threats. We offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. You keep doing what you do best, and we will protect the rest. Hamilton Business Technologies, the official business IT partner of the Huskers. Visit us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Over the last few years, we've redefined what working remotely means, and so is the Ford F-150. Bring your desk wherever you go with an available flat interior work surface. Drop down the available tailgate work surface to get it all done, and plug in what you need outside the cab with available Pro Power on board. How's that for upping your productivity? Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Get F-150 for 0.9% plus $3,250 cash, or lease one for $499 a month and zero down. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Over the last few years, we've redefined what working remotely means, and so is the Ford F-150. Bring your desk wherever you go with an available flat interior work surface. Drop down the available tailgate work surface to get it all done, and plug in what you need outside the cab with available Pro Power on board. How's that for upping your productivity? Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Get F-150 for 0.9% plus $3,250 cash, or lease one for $499 a month and zero down. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
1 year, zero interest. With a qualifying seed purchase from Central Valley Ag by October 17th, you can unlock 0% financing for 1 full year on seed and crop protection. The first 10 growers to enroll this week in the CVA Go Early Seed Program will receive 100 units of free Saltro soybean seed treatment. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Performance meets luxury at Woodhouse Cadillac. Lease the 2025 Cadillac Lyriq Sport 1 for $396 a month for 24 months and 10,000 miles per year. Browse our inventory in-store or shop online today at woodhousecadillac.com. With approved credit, tax title license extra, first payment, and $299 document fee due at signing. Must currently own a 2010 or newer competitive Conquest brand vehicle. Must currently own a Costco membership to qualify. Courtesy transportation vehicle with 1,259 miles. Offer expires September 30th, 2025. See dealer for details.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorce seed-enless corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore enlist corn and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. And the Woodhouse hotline is popping tonight. Got a lot of texts rolling in, Kyle. Here's one from Craig. It's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other question. Play a more quality opponent like Tennessee to fit into Big Ten play much better, or drop them to pad the record and develop backup depth versus Akron and most notably Houston Christian. Michigan didn't go the pad the record route, and it showed. Thoughts? Thanks, Craig.
Well, you look at it. So Michigan had played Central Michigan and New Mexico, and a lot of those contracts, Power 4 and Power 4, are done years in advance. Whether Oklahoma's good or not, Oklahoma's had their downtimes too. They just so happen to get John Mateer in the offseason, and they're a much better team. But Oklahoma's had their ups and downs, and you're playing Cincinnati years removed from a playoff. But you know, if you get a Power 4 team, you don't necessarily know what they're going to be when you play them, because those things happen year in advance. And both teams played two essentially, opponents on paper where they're going to blow them out, and did. That argument is what it is.
Dennis said an old coach named John Madden would say take the points on the first drive and ended with nothing. Bad, thumbs up, take the 3 points.
In a world now where every coach is aggressive and you want 6 instead of 3, and you could say in the end it was a field goal difference, but there's a lot of plays that could have been made that weren't. I think being aggressive on the opening drive on your own field when you get turned away and Michigan gets the ball inside their own 5 if you don't make it. I like the aggressive tactic from Matt Rhule. It shows your team you're here to win the game and not settle.
And you play the field position game, knowing your defense is going to back them up, and then you flip the field and all of that.
Again, hindsight 20/20. You can say it's the wrong decision in the end because you lost the game by 3 points, but in the moment, on your home field, 4th and short, Coach Rhule's been aggressive. Do it.
Again, and then that's the kind of plays we're talking about where you lost by 3. You could point to a number of different. You missed another field goal later. You gave up a long run for a touchdown. I mean, it's hard to just point to that one and say, oh, that's the problem. So Bartman said, if we have a quarterback who can run, do you think we would have won? ? Yes, we need a running threat at quarterback like Michigan. And
So he answered his own question? Is that what
Yeah. For you. He answered it for you. Totally disagree. I think they got the right guy at quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think that's the issue. I'm just going to leave it at that. No, That's not the issue.
All right. Let's hear from the head coach who met with the media today for his weekly press conference. And he was, of course, asked about it. What did he see from the offensive line on film?
They edged us early, and so then we started trying to absorb contact instead of, taking the fight to them. Thought we were, they do bring a lot of pressures and blitz. I mean, there's a couple that we sometimes we turned a guy loose that didn't need to be turned loose because we're overthinking it. Again, they present a lot of challenges. Credit to them. But it's also a bunch of other things, too. Sometimes you have a chip and the back doesn't chip, properly, right? Like he just tries it, but it's not a great chip. One sack, we're supposed to have a comeback and the guy runs the wrong route. So it's all 11 guys, but I think versus that rush, they were lining up wide and going speed. It's everything we knew they would do, right? Going speed to power and trying to collapse the pocket and make Dylan uncomfortable. And we didn't widen the pocket enough. And so from a football perspective, you want to have the width and depth of the pocket. The tackle set the width. Your inside guy set the depth. For the most part, the depth was okay, but the width, the edge guys won versus our tackles too much. And that it takes all 11 guys. Guys got to get open fast. Quarterback's got to get the ball out. You chip, rib, or whatever you need to do. We didn't get that done well enough.
It sort of goes back to the sentiment I had when we opened the show talking about offensive line plays, that it seemed like the two guards and Lutowski and Spindler and then the center and Evans had played well. If you look at the grades from the tackle position, their speed, power, rush really gave Dylan a lot of issues. And his ability to step up and maybe make more plays in that game could have been there. But again, hindsight 2020, tackle play, it's got to be better heading into Michigan State.
All right, up next, of course, another big topic that's been a big topic throughout the season. So we saw Quentin Ives have a career day last week. Mekhi Nelson did not play, and then Mekhi Nelson was the guy that was the number 2 guy behind Emmett on Saturday. So Coach Rhule was asked, who is the second running back right now behind Emmett Johnson?
It's like you sat in my staff meeting this morning, because that's literally what my question. And it doesn't mean I don't trust the other guys, but we need some production, more production out of that second spot. Mekhi got some reps in there. Isaiah was a running back who kind of had to go to slot when Wood got hurt. I'm always looking at like who are the players that we could be getting more production from that we're not putting that on them, but putting that on us. We're like, hey, get Carter Nelson going. Hey, get Mosey going. So where they fit, they've both had to kind of adapt their roles when we lost Wood, but we're not getting a ton of production out of them. Isaiah went back and returned kicks. Him and Kenny went back because we weren't, left to right. And but yeah, so is it Mosey? Is it Quentin? Is it they've all had a lot of help, a lot of reps. So. Those are, I'm not trying to blow off the question. That's literally the question I asked this morning. And so I challenged the staff to, hey, let me know how you guys see it. I know how I see it, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we're asking the same questions that Coach Rhule is asking his position coaches, who and E.J. Barthel specifically, who's our number 2 running back? I don't necessarily know they have the answer to that. I think, and he had said in his presser that Mekhi Nelson eventually can be and will be a starting running back in the Big Ten. I think there's a lot of confidence in what he can do as a freshman. They're in between with the injury to Bonner. They've moved Mosey all over the place. I think he's more in the wide receiver room now as a slot guy, and I really liked how they utilized him and in that orbit motion and the kind of the sweeping handoff game, and just sort of he's such a decoy piece, Swiss Army knife, in what he can do in this offense, that he's somebody who's he's got to be on the field because he keeps the defense on their toes. But, Emmett's he cannot be on the field for 95% of the snaps in the Big Ten. You just get worn down. Eventually, knock on wood, you get injured. So they got to find some sort of remedy. Does that mean more Quentin Ives moving forward? I mean, we didn't really see much of him at all after a career day. So maybe he just doesn't fit into that type of game.
And not just... and that was a tough physical game at that, too. So not just like a heavy workload. It's not like he's just running untouched. I mean, he was running really hard and
there's some pads crunching.
Yes. Yeah, you could hear him. You could hear him for sure.
You know what's interesting, too, Jess? Carter Nelson.
Yeah.
Where does he factor into this? I mean, we talk so much about him. I think part of it is I don't necessarily know where he's at health-wise with the hip surgery in the offseason. I mean, he underwent really tough surgery in the offseason and tough rehab. Where does he factor in becoming more of a playmaker or somebody who's on the field more? We can't answer those questions. That's Marcus Satterfield and those guys, that see him every single day.
Well, and I wonder, too, just because he was more of a wide receiver last year and now still learning the tight end position and all along.
Could he move more to a slot position, wide receiver
I know
position?
He's playing a big part on special teams, but yeah, I mean, he was we know that he can make plays and he has that ability, but I don't know if it may be more you like Heinrich Harburg and Luke Lindenmeyer and the way they're playing a little bit more because of all that they provide as opposed to just being a pass catcher. I don't know. That will be interesting to see because, see if they can get him going here over the next couple of weeks. All right, final clip we want to play for you from Coach Rhule, but about the narrative about Dylan Raiola if it bothers him.
I'm very hard on our players from an accountability measure. I believe that I hold them highly accountable because I want every player someday to say that their life is better because they played for us. And I know people might kind of roll their eyes, but that's all I want. I want them to say, I had a better life because I went there. So that might be sometimes challenging them. But outside of that, I'm going to defend them to the nth. I know how hard they work. Like, even if a guy didn't play well, like, what's the point of, like, burying him? Like, what is the point of burying that kid? Like I want to try to build him up. I'm not talking about fans. I'm talking about, but when it comes, sometimes I think things are just so lazy. Like, he's completing 75% of his passes. He's played 2 Power 4 teams. like even the play with the touchdown to Ja'Cory, like that's an elite level check. That's not somebody in the headset looking over the sidelines and them going like this. And that's Dylan playing quarterback, man. Like, so yeah, I say it to everyone every time the media comes in. I'm like, let's not do just the Mahomes thing. Now, I mean, I get the Mahomes thing, but that's just such an easy. Let's talk about the football. And I think he's playing football at a really, really, really high level. And if you look at his growth from last year to this year, like he got hit early. He had to run around early, and yet he's one throw, and that throw's not all, I mean, it's on him. It's also on the tight end. Tight end breaks out when he's supposed to sit down. Tight end does what he's supposed to do. The ball's completed, and we don't have to throw that interception. So it's a little bit of everybody. But yeah, that doesn't bother me as much as like I want people to see in these guys what I see in them. Right? They play their tails off, and I think Dylan's playing quarterback at a really high level right now, personally.
And we forget that. I saw a clip from a CBS Sports writer that I just couldn't believe it. A lot of people, they feel like they have to give hot takes just to give hot takes without watching the games. They said, I'm done with Dylan Rhule. The way he throws off his back foot, this, that, and it goes back to he's trying to be Mahomes, this, that, and the other, and you're not actually watching the games. To me, it's just you're not actually watching Dylan Rhule for his detractors play quarterback this year. He was incredible against Michigan. He had some turnover-worthy throws against Michigan and against Cincinnati. He's been incredible this year. It's time to start realizing what you have behind center because he is an elite quarterback.
Preach. All right, on that note, let's get to a break. On the other side of this, we're going to play for you a portion of my conversation with Marquis Watson Trent. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This fall, be ready for every tailgate, touchdown, and adventure in a perfect car, truck, or SUV from Sid Dillon Chevrolet. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and shop Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. We're also your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, offering medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit us at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorseed Enlist corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore Enlist corn and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
The work is dirty.
and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. For this past week's Cornhusker conversation, had a chance to have a fascinating conversation with the senior linebacker Marquis Watson Trent. Wanted to play you a portion of that conversation here tonight. So take me back to when you decide you play a long time at Georgia Southern and were the defensive player of the year in your conference. But when you decided to transfer, just what were you looking for? Why did you land on Nebraska?
I wanted a challenge, and I wanted to compete at a high level. Seeing what Matt Rhule does, especially in his third year, and the programs that he built up, and the standard that he has just outside looking in, is different when you even get into it. It's another level that you get. And I knew there were some things that I wanted to fix as far as just, my management, time management, my weights, and different things like that. I wanted to be at the highest level to be able to make it to the NFL. And I feel like the Big Ten Conference is one of the best conferences in the nation. So to compete against, big-time talent and big-time competitors, but also compete every day here, when you're surrounded by guys, it only makes you a better player. My whole idea of going into the transfer portal was just to get better and compete at a high level. And, I feel like we're doing a great job. It's been one of the best decisions I made.
What did you know about Matt Rhule before you started talking to him through this process?
Just one, my perspective of him from the world, just talking through, people that knows him, and just the reputation that he has is he demands greatness. And, that's something even when I got here and on my visit and got to talk to him, I really got to see that. He's a man of his word. He holds everybody to the highest standard. And it's all out of love and all out of passion. We're a family here, we're a brotherhood, but it's no man left behind. So we're going to pick everybody up, and, we can't go under the standard. So just hearing how he competes at a high level and how he withstands adversity and how practices is going to be and how our schedule is going to be, he's going to treat us like a pro. Obviously, coaching at the NFL, he knows exactly how it is. So him having that input also, motivated me to, get under somebody who he did it at the highest level. So he knows and, wanted to be a part of that.
Did you have any ties or connections to Nebraska?
I actually didn't. The biggest thing other than playing against it and feeling how it was and feeling how I felt, it was an amazing experience. Probably DeMichael is probably the only coach that I kind of similar, being from Pittsburgh and him being a big Pittsburgh guy. But other than that, I really didn't have a lot of connection. No, I didn't.
Wow. So you took a leap of faith then, coming here without knowing much other than just what you discovered throughout your process of recruiting.
For sure. It was a lot of prayer. My family, they do a really good job. They hold me accountable, and they really help me with decisions like that. So just going to my group and my foundation and really, praying on it and asking God if this is a great position for me, a great situation for me. Obviously, it's far from family, and, it's hard for them to get to the games and different things, but they do an amazing job supporting from wherever they are, and they try to get to every game. So really wasn't worried about that, but I really wanted to get challenged, and I knew what I wanted, I thank God for, helping me make this decision. It's been a blessing.
Did coming here as an opponent play a role in that, do you think?
It did, because I got to experience it from the opposite end. And I was like, if I'm playing for them, I understand how that will feel. Mm-hmm. And like I told you, like they really play a huge role. Like it makes playing offense here is hard because of the noise and everything going on, and the atmosphere makes you want to play harder when you hear the roar of a crowd. So just being on the right side of it is fun and it's an amazing experience.
You've racked up so many tackles throughout your college career, and that's one thing that people have said about you all along is just that you have these elite tackling skills. Mm. What's gone into that? How have you become just such a good tackler, especially playing defense?
Yeah, I would say really hard work on understanding leverage. I feel like tackling is also a mindset of not having fear. Sometimes you just got to go. I still work on it every day, trying to make sure I'm tightening it up and different things. I play with great leverage just because of my size. Some people may look at my size as a downfall, but I always looked at it as a positive because I always have good leverage on everybody I play. So just being physical, having a mindset, and God always being out there with me, so it allowed me to play free. So those are some of the few things, but just a lot of hard work and grinding for it.
So has that always been something that you've had to focus on then, even throughout your high school and even prep career?
As far as just like the tackling?
That you talk about your size and just knowing kind of how to maneuver your body in a way, the leverage and all of that?
Yeah, I think, I've kind of been all this size my whole life. So it kind of really, you kind of just, play how you play. Like I don't think about being 6'3" because I'm 5'11". But as far as just not having any fear and being free out there, that's just always something I had, and having confidence with it throughout the years. So it kind of helped me have success through high school and through college. Is just going, like just playing ball and having a physical mindset of, tackling the ball, carrier, whoever got the ball, no matter who you are, what size you are, getting to the ball and, getting them down.
Where did you find your love for football?
That's a great question. I would say as a young age, I'm from Pittsburgh, so my very beginning of football really wasn't like a program. It was more like the kids on the street, and we just, would line it up anywhere if it was in the middle of the street or in somebody's backyard. And I would say truly that's where I kind of started learning about the love of the game and just playing it as a kid. I always loved, running, tackling, touchdowns, all those different things. So I think my love really started real young. My father always been big on it with me. He's been a great mentor for me. He actually played when he was younger and different things like that. So it was just a fun game to me. And then when I started to learn different techniques and like more about it, I started to fall in love with the process of, if we're running these hills or we're doing these drills, it's going to help you in the game. And I just love seeing how that works. So, and getting better throughout the years.
I've always found that linebackers are kind of, they're so just to talk to you, learn so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like your knowledge of the game. Has that always come naturally to you? Have you had to work on it, or have you always kind of understood and known the game, how the game goes throughout your entire career?
Yeah, I think one of the coaches, one of my high school coaches is like, don't ever lose the love of learning. So it did come natural to me, but I also love learning more. And I think you can never learn too much, whether it's just different drills you can do of different techniques and understanding the game as far as formation, personnel, now the level of the back, and like if he's pistol, if he's offset, just different things. Everything plays a role, and football is similar in different every levels. There's obviously different things that go into it, but it's very like a clean-cut game when you make it. So I just always love to learn. It kind of came easy to me in the beginning and stuff like that, but just always want to build on it and keep building on it.
And that was, again, a part of our Cornhusker conversation presented by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Fall into savings and drive something new at Woodhouse Chevy. Whether you're tailgating, planning a fall road trip, or driving your daily commute, There's a vehicle in the Chevy lineup that's perfect for wherever the road takes you. From reliable trucks to spacious SUVs, you'll find a wide selection of inventory. Plus special financing and limited time offers available now. Shop online anytime or stop by one of our 2 convenient locations in Omaha or Missouri Valley. Woodhouse Chevy. Together, let's drive.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive. From enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Final minute or so left here of hour number 1. I'm Jessica Coody with Kyle Crooks. And did want to mention, too, if you wanted to hear that full conversation, that was just a small portion of it with Marquis Watson Trent. He's fascinating. Got a fascinating story. He's the oldest of 9 siblings. So he's so mature. That's what Damon, when he called me to ask me who the Cornhusker conversation was, he's like a 35-year-old man. But just a great story, great perspective. So you can listen to that full conversation. It's on our YouTube channel and our podcast platforms as well.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, and he's well accomplished. So there's only one other player as more tackles amongst active players in the NCAA, and he's made a nice impact. And boy, had such an incredible career at Georgia Southern. Got a win here at Memorial Stadium in 2022. So he's had a good start, and it's good to have him here.
Yeah, Vincent Schaefer's, I talked to him after the game, and he, as good as V9 has been, he really praised those older guys, Javen Wright and Watson Trent, for being the leaders in that room and helping even him along. So V9's pretty special, huh?
Yeah, he was all over the place on Saturday.
He was. All right, fast first hour, and I see we've got some more texts rolling in. Just didn't have time to get to them here, but we will get to them on the other side of this here in our first segment of hour number 2. So appreciate those rolling in and keep them rolling in. We'd love to hear from you guys here on this Monday night edition of Sports Nightly. Keep it here. Coming up, hour number 2, we have Damon Benning and a special guest might be hopping in when we're talking to DB. So keep it here. Sports Nightly rolls on after this.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Summer adventures may be winding down, but at Woodhouse Ford, the road ahead is just beginning. As the seasons change, make sure you're ready for every drive. Whether it's tailgating weekends, fall road trips, or the daily commute, Woodhouse Ford has trucks, SUVs, and reliable service you can count on. This fall, find your perfect ride at Woodhouse Ford. Explore special financing and current offers online, or visit us in-store at one of our 3 locations in Blair, Omaha, and Plattsmouth.
Game-changing technology is just a phone call away. When your office technology isn't playing nice and you need expert help, give Hamilton Business Technologies a shout. We are the official business IT partner of the Huskers, and we are your partner for IT support. From on-site or remote managed IT services to business phone systems and proactive cybersecurity solutions, Nebraska businesses trust us when they need expert help. When your technology playbook needs a rewrite, think of Hamilton Business Technologies and visit us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Good evening, I am Brady Alderson, and the Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. The Husker soccer team remains undefeated after picking up their third straight draw this weekend, moving them to 5-0-5 on the season. All three of Nebraska's Big Ten matchups have now ended in a tie. The 5 draws from the Huskers ties for the most in program history. Nebraska will look to stay unbeaten this Thursday as they head back home to host the Michigan Wolverines. The top-ranked Huskers volleyball team completed non-conference play this weekend with a sweep of Arizona to improve to 10-0. The Cornhuskers are one of just 2 Big Ten teams that will enter conference play undefeated. Nebraska will begin their quest to win their third straight conference title on Wednesday at 6 p.m. when they welcome the Michigan Wolverines into John Cook Arena at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. And you can catch all the action right here on HRN. Beginning today was the Get Her Done Invitational hosted by the Cornhuskers men's golf team at Firethorn Golf Club. Tee times began off of 1 and 10 tees this morning en route to players completing 36 holes by this afternoon. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. play will continue in the same fashion as the field will complete their final 18 holes of the 54-hole tournament. Nebraska is coming off a 4th-place team finish last week and will look to continue that success into this week. The Sports Ticker was brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the Retirement Compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Coming up next is the second hour of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
2 wide each way. Underwood out of the gun. Marshall, the running back right. Takes the wayside snap. 4-man twisting rush. Underwood under pressure. Ball's loose. It's picked up. Deshaun Singleton was in the area. Beanbags on the turf. They stripped it. Black shirts get it done and get the takeaway. Snap to Rhule. Rolls right. Looks downfield to the numbers. Rhule plants. Launches. Far right side of the end zone. Jump ball. Was it caught? Was it caught?
Unreal.
Touchdown! Huskers! Jakari Barney on a prayer! 52 yards!
Line drive serve is in. Pass by Harper. Set middle. Rebecca for the match. She got it! Call the grandkid. Nebraska wins another in 5 over Creighton. The Big Red remains perfect. 9-0 in 2025.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Damon Benning will join us here in just a few minutes. But Kyle, going back to my conversation with Marquis Watson Trent, he brought up how since he came here, he's learned a lot of different ways to improve just his overall health and body and just the science behind it, and just talk about the resources here at Nebraska. But one of the things he said he started doing was sleeping with mouth tape. Have you ever done that? It's all the rage.
I've seen people, I've seen that on TV and things, like people on Instagram, I guess influencers like to do that. What's like the science behind that?
I don't know. I thought maybe you would know.
No, I don't do mouth tape. I don't get enough sleep to put tape over my mouth.
He said it's made a world of difference. So I need to maybe look into it.
I don't know what.
If Mitch,
probably a quick Google.
How many times have you heard Mitch be brought up about just the science of it and how important he's been? I mean, Corey, Mitch, Kristen, those 3, that trio have been
big 3.
And he was talking about Mitch, is just learning from him that's one of the things he took away. So I need to maybe look into that.
Mouth tape.
I don't know. So maybe could help to sleep. Maybe help you perform better. I wonder what it does for the vocal cords for play-by-play guys.
I got some Scotch tape at home. Maybe I can start there.
Don't know I think there's a special kind of tape that you're supposed to use. So
I guess duct taping my own mouth wouldn't work. I think the neighbors might have to call the authorities.
I don't. Can you imagine waking up, looking out your window and somebody seeing you? And
that's a whole different show.
Oh, my. All right. Did want to get to a couple of the texts we didn't get to. I'm tickled now. I'm tickled. Okay. A couple of texts that came in during the last hour that we didn't get to. I like that we went for the touchdown on the first drive. While we did not score, we held them to a punt. We had great field position, which was an extension of that first drive. We kicked the field goal in an attempt to go up 3-0. We missed. Not the coach's fault that we weren't ahead by 3. We need to be able to run the ball effectively in the red zone to be a top team.
Conversion rate inside the 10, inside the 5. Dana Holgerson talked a lot about that during the presser last week. They have to be better inside the red zone. I think it's 4 times inside the 10 that they've come away with no points. So it's been 2 turnover on downs and 3 fumbles inside the 10. So got to be better in that spot.
All right, and this was going back to what you had said about the hot takes with the national media and talking about being done with Dylan Raiola. And he said, think some of those national media people just looking to get a strong reaction to a comment made. Back our man at quarterback, Raiola, 5,000% GBR.
I just hope people don't take for granted because if you, especially in the Big Ten, now the Big Ten actually has some really good quarterback play this year. But if you looked at the Big Ten in years past and the SEC in years, but there's been some rough quarterback play. Sometimes it's hit or miss at the college level. We all know that. Don't take for granted how good Dylan Raiola was on. Against Michigan, there were some issues. A lot of that had to do with pressure. He threw the interception, but he was running for his life a lot, and there's some things he could have done better, of course. You lost the game, so it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. But do not, he's top 5 in completion percentage. You're seeing what he's doing is, getting the ball downfield a little bit more. The touchdown pass he had to Ja'Cory Barney was elite. There's a touchdown he had it. I think it was Houston Christian. He threw to Dane Key. That was one of the better dimes I've ever seen a quarterback throw. He's every bit of the 5-star that we thought he'd be coming in. You're starting to see more of it now because he has a lot of experience. So just don't take that for granted.
Okay, this one's from Anthony in Portland. He said the majority of the fan base predicted 9-3, 8-4. Assuming Michigan was one of those losses, it sounded like everyone thought we were going undefeated. Is it fair and helpful to the program to have constantly shifting expectations of the team? If Notre Dame gave up after their bad loss last year, they don't end up in the national championship. One game is not a trend. We lost by 3. Learn and move on.
I don't want to say, too, that I don't empathize with the fan and understand fan is short for fanatical. It sways you.
The team thought they were going to win that game,
Coach Rhule's nobody's angrier than Coach Rhule right now after they lost that game. So, I want to empathize with the fan and be with you on your level. I understand why it's frustrating. I understand why it stinks because it was an opportunity to stay undefeated, start 1-0 in the Big Ten, and
snap the top 25 losing streak.
Yeah, you've lost 6 Big Ten openers in a row. I think everybody tends to revert back to this is Nebraska of old, and I'm here to say that this roster is pretty darn good. The quarterback here is pretty darn good, and I do not think it's Nebraska of old. And people will tell me, "Oh, Kyle, keep quiet. What do you know?" And okay, fine. So I want to empathize with the fan and understand. I understand it's a missed opportunity. We all know that. They got to play better in certain aspects of the game, but the season ain't lost.
Yeah. To Anthony's point, one loss does not derail everything that this team wanted to do. Everything's still right there on the table. You got to correct some things, as we've talked a lot about in the show, as Coach Rhule talked about today. As the team talked about post-game, they know that there are some things they have to improve, and it starts right here in the bye week. Okay, so one of the things I laughed out loud during the broadcast, I think it was some play call that Damon thought was one way, and then he said, "Am I crazy?" And you quickly said, "No." And then you thought about it, you said, "Well, maybe a little."
Only a little.
Maybe a little.
We all got our quirks in that booth. The trio of chaos between me, Ben, and Damon, there's a lot of quirks in that booth. So we have an interesting dynamic. Ben and Damon's dynamic, I think, is awesome. It's like literal brothers. The way that they can communicate, because Ben can't talk on the air while we're doing the play-by-play, so he communicates with his hands and with his marker board. And the way that they can communicate without actually talking is incredibly unique.
You posted a video. You had the GoPro on the booth, and maybe some things that we'll continue to post moving forward. But you had the GoPro on during the Hail Mary play, and it is gold. It is solid gold. Follow Kyle on Instagram, TikTok if you have it. Just greatness to see. Ben just throws up his hands
yeah.
And then BB turns, and then he goes, unbelievable. And then he's like banging on the wall with the coaches next door. It's like,
you see the coaches' reaction in the booth. They're the booth to
Yeah.
our left, so you see the coaches' reaction in the back. And you want to talk about feeling these games and these losses. Like Ben really, he wore that loss. He was pretty.
He does.
He was pretty upset. And Damon can't eat on a game day because he's so nervous. So like, you want to talk about guys that feel it, that understand how a fan feels, and I certainly, I mean, I'm a fan, and I grew up a fan of many teams, and I'm 150% invested in this, and you feel it because you're around the players and the coaches. Like that booth felt it.
Yeah. And I think that's, for me, I think because I've covered teams and you know that, like, just, hey, it's part of sports. It doesn't always go perfectly. I hurt the most when you talk to the players post-game and the coaches, and you know how they want it more than anybody. They're more disappointed than anybody. Like, that's where I feel the hurt more than anything, is when, you know, you can just, and you have to ask them questions about it. Like, there's nobody that wants to win more than the guys in that locker room. So, but yeah, this is an invested broadcast team, that's for sure.
And I think what was cool post-game, if you watch Dylan and what he said at the podium, it was kind of like his own version of the Tim Tebow sort of guarantee speech, but he said, we're going to get better from this, and we're going to be a much better team because of this. And when he could have used that opportunity to make excuses or say we weren't good here, we weren't good enough here, and not necessarily pointing back, and he was more of, look, I take responsibility for this loss or whatever, and we're going to get better and be better because of it. So I think the maturity of Dylan was evident once again in that post-game press conference.
Appreciate the text again rolling in for us here tonight. Coming up on the other side of this, we are going to hear from Damon Benning, but please keep those texts rolling in. We'll get to them on the other side of this conversation. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
1 year, 0 interest. With a qualifying seed purchase from Central Valley Ag by October 17th, you can unlock 0% financing for 1 full year on seed and crop protection. The first 10 growers to enroll this week in the CVA Go Early Seed program will receive 100 units of free Saltro soybean seed treatment. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Defend your network like a champ with Hamilton Business Technologies. From end zones to endpoints, our cybersecurity solutions keep your business and your data protected from online threats. We offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. You keep doing what you do best, and we will protect the rest. Hamilton Business Technologies, the official business IT partner of the Huskers. Visit us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
1 year, 0 interest. With a qualifying seed purchase from Central Valley Ag by October 17th, you can unlock 0% financing for 1 full year on seed and crop protection. The first 10 growers to enroll this week in the CVA Go Early Seed program will receive 100 units of free Saltro soybean seed treatment. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter agents Brent Rucco, Pete Vols, or George Florum in North Platte today.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole. Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive. From enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody, and excited to be joined by, I get to say this now, the third member of our broadcast team, Damon Benning. We're going to have a special guest coming up, too. I won't spoil that for the folks, but here in just a few minutes, another special guest, one of my favorites, going to be hopping in here too. But DB, wanted to get you on here going into the bye week, and I know you go back and watch some of the film. What were some of the things that you maybe changed your perspective of the game after you went back and watched a little bit of it after seeing it live?
So there are a couple things. I think number one, and I talked to Kyle about this a little bit at half. I was like, Sands a couple of plays, and then I felt kind of dirty for saying that all the time. But then to hear Coach Rhule this morning talk about, you take away 4 plays, and he said the same thing I said to Kyle at that time. Well, you can't really take it away, but you start doing the math in your head. So I think this week is really critical to put that to the test, right? Do we need to tweak the scheme? Is it personnel? We're pretty good most of the time, but when we're bad, it's pretty awful, right? Did it seem like it was a game in which Nebraska won the time of possession or had 22 more plays than Michigan? Because the narrative is that Michigan always had it under control, and maybe they did. It just didn't feel that way. And I try to pit it against what I saw on the rewatch, and Nebraska had their opportunities. One thing I think that was definitely something we talked about during the broadcast and resonated even more on the rewatch was Michigan's physicality. Boy, I was joking with you guys during the broadcast about the mics and picking up the pad popping, and golly, Michigan was just so physical, winning out in space. And I was shocked. I think the most shocking stat for me was to find that of Nebraska's 74 snaps, Michigan had 40 solo tackles. So that means whenever they got to the ball, they got those guys to the ground. I thought that was staggering.
Yeah, but I think to that point, there were some screenplays on the outside where Michigan was able to make a man miss, and meanwhile Michigan defensively was making that tackle in the open field. So there's a lot of big differences in that game, but that's one that stands out to me. Let's go to the offensive line, DB, because that is the biggest area of conversation amongst other things. We were talking during the game. You said, okay, I want to go and look back and see how many of those sacks are maybe Dylan needs to have a better feel, as opposed to, look, our tackles just got beat. So when you go back and watch some of that game, how much is that the tackles need improvement? How much is that maybe Dylan needs to have some improvement in his feel of what's around him?
Yeah, so if I was going to go percentages, I would probably say it's like 3/4 quarter. Offensive line obviously has to be a little more stout, give a little more ground, kind of those short pass sets with those wide speed rushers. It's going to be tough, and to their credit, I felt like they tried to hang in there with where the pocket, it actually looked, it was kind of like the opposite of a bowl, right? And there are a couple of times where I felt like where Dylan could have helped him out is to step up in the pocket and not around the edges. The edges were obviously a little bit vulnerable, but I do think they had a nice little cup where he probably could have stepped up once or twice. I think what Michigan started to do, where I think Nebraska offensive line and even Dylan a little bit, because I actually think he played pretty well. We're seeing a little bit of ghost, KC, was the fact Michigan stopped bringing as much pressure, could rush with 4, and then they played coverage. Mm-hmm. So I think it fooled them a little bit on the interception, where to sit that route down, where not to sit it down, how much did they have to get it out of their hands. And the corner, they did a really good job of baiting that throw. So, I thought real time they could have probably thrown the slant behind it. But listen, real life happens, and you're not always going to be perfect. But for a guy that's, 11-1 touchdowns to interceptions, 75% completion percentage, first quarterback to throw over 300 yards against Michigan since Georgia, like that's pretty good. So I feel like it's a 3/4 quarter, but for the most part, I think those tackles have got to be a little bit better.
DB, you and I were texting about this earlier, and I didn't get this on the broadcast, but you said something and I can't remember exactly what it was, about the wide receivers. And then it was almost exact the messaging that Deikel Shorts was given to his guys. And he's a pretty calm, cool, even killed kind of guy, but I could sense even he was getting after his guys a little bit. And so as much as we're pointing to maybe the offensive line, to Dylan, to maybe even the running backs, I got a sense that even maybe the wide receivers weren't playing up to the standard that they would like to play for either, with just the competitiveness and the physicality of those Michigan defensive backs, maybe didn't compete as much as what they'd like out of those guys.
Yeah, I felt like, and you got to tell me if this is kind of what Coach Shorts was echoing. I felt like during Michigan was just winning on the perimeter.
Yeah.
They were winning in the screen game. They were defeating blocks. They were fitting in the run game really, really fast. And I felt like Nebraska's wide receiving core had to just do a little bit better job of being a little more stout. They got big, strong guys. I think the tempo and suddenness in which Michigan played with getting into the box was a little bit frustrating for those wide receivers, because conversely, when they were open a ton, right? So sometimes that can creep into your thought process, like, hey, just throw me the ball. And in the meantime, it's like you forget there's another phase in which Michigan was dominating in terms of winning on the perimeter.
DB, let me ask you this. When we look at the defense, how much of what we saw on Saturday is saying, okay, Nebraska, this is the easy answer. Nebraska doesn't have the horses, as opposed to these are the things that we saw that went awry are fixable. How much do you feel like what you saw in some of the issues and maybe missing run fills and all those things are fixable, as opposed to saying, okay, Nebraska, at least at the line of scrimmage, isn't what they need to be, and eventually they can be through recruiting? Like, how much is it the horses we have a lot of things that are still fixable, and this could still be a very good group up front?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I think the easy answer is actually the truth. It's a little bit of both. Michigan's front seven on both sides of the ball. I mean, those tight ends and offensive line, I get it. They were kind of rounding into form. They were young in some key spots, inexperienced. That's a good, talented, strong front. Defensively, that front seven is terrific. And I know that fan base up in Ann Arbor wanted a few more havoc plays from that D-line all year. And, but those linebackers, they played with their hair on fire. Casey, it was interesting. We talked to a former Michigan Wolverine this morning on the show, and he said it was interesting. He said, I don't know what it is, right? We hate Ohio State, and there's no doubt about that. But when we play Nebraska, the level of physicality in which we play with is a little bit different. And even our alumni guys have kind of noticed that. And so I thought that was interesting, for all the talk that we have about the helmet games. But, to your point, I do think Michigan is really good. I think they're talented up front on both sides of the ball. But for Nebraska, that's the critical part of this bye week. From staff on down, do we need to call it a little bit different? Do we need to maybe factor in who's playing, who's not playing, and understand what's happening when they are or aren't in the game? And then there's always the execution part. The easy, lazy answer is always to say, you got to make that play. But there's some truth in that where, as a coordinator, whether it's offensive or defensive, the goal is to get one-on-one, right? You're free ball carrier with our free defender, and to free up a defender to make plays. So we kind of have to get over, that's a lot of pressure on one guy. There's always going to be stressors in every scheme where, guys got to hold their own. So, I think this bye week will give Nebraska a good opportunity to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, hey, listen, when we call these types of plays, it has yielded these results. Is this a talent issue? Is this a scheme issue? Do we need to scrap this part of it? And do we need to see a different player? All that is critical in this bye week. We talked ad nauseum about the first run play that Haynes had. And I said, I'm not sure if that Shavers is supposed to box that. Is Buford fitting behind? Did we not like the angle? What Coach Rhule say? Well, you know what? If we do what we do up front, it doesn't get to that point. So the beautiful thing about defense is also the thing that can frustrate you. It typically takes all 11 to function at a high level because, it's like bad news. When you don't have your fit, it typically always beats you home and the ball will find you.
I feel like that was a game that we really missed Janiron Bonner.
Yeah. The versatility, the toughness, the leadership, just his physicality at the point of attack. He's kind of relentless. Nebraska wanted to go to some of that two-back stuff. Mosey was thrust into some action, having to move out to the slot without Bonner. And I think when you're trying to win on the perimeter with what Nebraska wants to do, a strong physical presence right there in the slot can really, really help you. But even more to your point, Jess, it's his emotional toughness. He's unflappable. And listen, I don't think that was a game where Nebraska was nervous or, biting at the nails. But at some point, you'd like some other options just to kind of stem the tide and give a different look. And I think that's definitely something Bonner could have done.
And DB, I love the way, especially on that first drive, they used Isaiah Mosey, right? He was kind of that Debo Samuel. Let's put him in the backfield, put him in the slot, use him kind of in that speed sweep, jet sweep, all those different looks that you can get with Isaiah Mosey. And another big point of contention for Nebraska fans is, okay, Emmett, he looked worn out. I mean, he was trying to make plays, it was just hard on that front seven to be able to get him going. And to have that second guy behind him, I think, and we'll get your thoughts on this, Mekhi Nelson's a gamer. I think he can eventually become that. But I think the Swiss Army knife of what Isaiah Mosey can be moving forward here in the Big Ten, I think that's going to be a massive X factor.
But can those guys pass protect behind Emmett?
Yeah, that's the thing. So the chipping was left a little to be desired. The pass protection left a little to be desired. And so what I think happens, Casey, is Nebraska got a little gun shy in their substitution patterns, because sometimes as a coach you say, well, if this guy isn't getting it done, then this guy isn't going to get it done, as opposed to, well, this guy isn't getting it done, let's give this guy an opportunity, because you're basing it on the frame of work. Typically, but not always, the best indicator of future success is past performance. So coaches always go with what they trust. So even though I think Marques has become a very, listen, he had the 3 for 19 and he looks dangerous, right? He looks like a guy that when he gets it, he's always ready to go. But what I think Nebraska chose to do, as opposed to lightening the workload from the handoff spot, is they went to that little quick game, the sweeps, the the flipping it out there early. Emma Johnson had 5 catches, and they want to get it out to Mosey on the perimeter to kind of lighten the load in terms of what they were seeing in the box. But if I'm Nebraska, listen, I think the bye week is the perfect time to develop that two-way street called trust, where whomever you want to be that second back, get him ready to play. And not only get him ready to play, give him real game opportunities. You don't know what you have until you actually put it out there. And I don't mean just put it out there and see and pull him on the first mess up or mix up. I mean, let him actually play through it, get a feel for the game, and then have your evaluation go from there.
All right. So let us know when the special guest arrives.
Oh, she's here. She's got her whole library. Come on over, kiddo.
Okay. Well, she's
got her books. She's I'm telling you, she's ready.
All right. I've said this before. Don't tell Caleb. It's time for our favorite Benning to join us here on the show. Zoe is, we've been talking about her. We've made some references. I love the hair today, Zoe. Thanks for joining us. So I've been talking about you. We know that you have this great knowledge of wrestling, and so we're finally getting you on. Did you go to school today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell Jessica how long it takes to do your hair in the morning. Do you pick a different style every day, or do you wear the same one? What do you
different style.
Different style.
Okay. So for those that don't know, Zoe's big time. She got big time into like old school wrestling. Tell us, Zoe, how you got into that and why you like it so much.
Why do you like wrestling?
Breeze and Breeze.
So Breeze is her brother. They don't know his nickname, so you have to say Micah. Tell him Micah. If they started watching it at a really early age. Why do you like old school wrestlers?
I don't have an answer to that, though.
No. What new wrestlers do you like?
John Cena?
That's not.
She likes the Bella Twins.
Yeah, just give her rapid fire, Casey.
You like the Bella Twins. Tell Zoe who your favorite is.
So my favorite wrestler, Zoe, is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Are you a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan?
Kind of.
Okay, we can start there.
What do we like about Stone Cold Steve Austin?
When he climbed up on the big cage.
He climbed up on the cage.
Hey, okay, so you
have her rank the entrances for WrestleMania. Who's had your favorite WrestleMania entrances?
Undertaker.
Okay. His is very long though. It takes a very long time for him to get to the ring.
She said very.
It's like trying to get Damon up to the booth. That's Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania.
I always ask for help, Casey.
He has to have some assistance.
Yeah.
Hey, Zoe, how would you rate Ben McLaughlin's Kerplunk game? How good is he at that game? Did he beat you? He's okay.
Who won?
Me.
Didn't Ben beat you though once?
I think you got to tell the whole story.
That's only because I pulled a lot, like 2 straws at once, and then all of them came out. So and then I rolled a little, and he didn't see. So then I won.
Yeah, she gave Ben all the marbles.
So I'm not familiar with this game. What do we?
Oh,
Kerplunk?
Ben or Kyle, you got to see it. The 3 of them they played it the last 2 weeks, and I don't know which one's the most competitive. Who
Zoe.
I have no idea where she gets it from.
She's a Benning.
Us either.
She's a Benning.
Yeah. Oh, where do you get it from? Why'd you look at me like that? Where do you get it from?
Are you pretty competitive, Zoe?
Yes. Very.
Yes.
All right. What else you have for us, Zoe? Any final thoughts?
Show your book. You gotta show her your books.
1.
They can't. So yep. There's 1.
Superstar handbook.
So we've got.
Look, any other 7-year-old girls?
You have any wrestler figurines, like the things you play with? I used to have those as a kid.
No, but Breeze has one in his closet that he lets me play with.
Okay. You have like a championship belt or anything like that? I used to get one of those.
No.
We'll have to get you one.
Did you tell Kyle, where'd you just go a couple of months ago.
For my birthday. Oh, we went there to see WWE.
Oh, you saw SmackDown, didn't you?
It was SmackDown
for her birthday.
Oh,
that's exciting.
Awesome. You going back to another one soon? Hopefully.
Probably.
Yeah. I know your parents are thrilled about that.
Yeah, stoked.
All right, Zoe, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
It's so tiny.
DB, thank you.
You got it. Anytime you guys need me.
All right.
Thank you, DB.
David
Have a good rest
Benning,
of the show.
Damon and Zoe here with us on Sports Night. Got to step aside for a break. More coming up after this.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle, good hustle.
Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage.
It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. 1, 2, 3, Wildcats!
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
See Shelter Agent John Austin in Fairbury, Rhonda Miller in Alliance, or Stephanie Culver in Holdridge today.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Quarren Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Game-changing technology is just a phone call away. When your office technology isn't playing nice and you need expert help, give Hamilton Business Technologies a shout. We are the official business IT partner of the Huskers, and we are your partner for IT support. From on-site or remote managed IT services to business phone systems and proactive cybersecurity solutions, Nebraska businesses trust us when they need expert help. When your technology playbook needs a rewrite, think of Hamilton Business Technologies and visit us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter agents Brent Rucco, Pete Voles, or George Florum in North Platte today.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Gotta love me some Zoe Benning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Huge wrestling fan.
Yep.
So we share that. And apparently you ate one of her donuts on game day.
Oh, yeah. I meant to thank her while she was on here. So she likes to go to Hertz Donuts and on game days, and they had some left over here on Sunday. And I came up here to get some footage and grab one on the go for a little dessert.
You have to thank her the next time you see her.
So thank you, Zoe, for the donut, if you're listening. Appreciate it. Someone it was Ken in the chat, said Undertaker was the correct answer on the number one entrance.
It just takes forever. I know you're not a wrestling fan.
I didn't know what y'all were talking about half the time.
All WrestleMania entrances, so for the specific pay-per-view of WrestleMania, the entrances are very exaggerated. They take like 15 minutes, but Undertaker's takes a good 30 minutes for him to walk to the ring.
30?
Yeah, not 30, but it takes a long, long time. So just like getting Damon to the booth.
I'll have to go YouTube it later.
I guarantee you won't. So I looked up the mouth tape thing. Apparently,
okay, all right.
Apparently that helps like snoring. It helps
I don't
your
snore, I don't think.
your oral health, so like cavities and things like that.
Well, I don't think the high chews help that front. But
as long as you brush your teeth, you're good.
I do brush my teeth.
What was it?
You got something else?
Reduce snoring. Encourages nasal breathing.
Okay. Which nasal breathing is better for you? I do know that.
Okay, I didn't know that. Improves sleep quality.
Does it help with grinding of the teeth? Because I do grind my teeth.
It doesn't say that here. So I'm all in on this AI synopsis, which doesn't give me a grinding of the teeth. Reduce symptoms of mild sleep apnea. Prevents dry mouth. Improves oral hygiene. So that's great.
All right. Maybe we'll have to do it.
It is a choking hazard, though.
Oh. Well, maybe we have to
and lack of scientific evidence.
Do like a test and then circle back here in like a month and see where we're standing.
If I haven't choked?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad I'm the guinea pig here.
No, I was going to do it too.
Okay.
See if it actually helps.
Consult a healthcare professional, though, please.
Oh, okay. All right.
Before you do it.
All right. I'll get on that. Okay. You had a couple more texts that came in here. This one is from Roger. He said, give Michigan their due. I believe in our staff. I think there are a few gamers on this Huskers roster. I believe they will improve as this season moves along. As always, go Big Red. Later, Roger. I agree. I mean, and I think that's what Coach Rhule talked about. I mean, this is a team that likes to compete. I don't think it left a very good taste in the mouth on Saturday, and so I think they'll do everything in their power to improve and be better next time out.
I think, Isaiah Hunter had a good game. Luke Lindenmeyer had a good game.
Ja'Cory Barney had a great game.
That's somebody we talked about earlier. Dylan, I think the three guys, two guard positions at center, so Lutovsky, Spindler, Evans had a good game. I think Vincent Shavers was all over the place. There were guys defensively. I think the secondary was great. There were some missed run fits. I can think of one when Buford kind of missed a tackle that went for a touchdown to the house. But again, if the defensive line does their job, maybe it's not all up on Marquis to make that play in that moment in time. Maybe he has some help. But there are some guys that played well. Again, it was a field goal difference, a play here or there, and we're having a much different conversation where we're saying, you think Nebraska wins that game, right? Say Nebraska wins 30-27, it plays out in a similar fashion. We're a lot more positive, but there's still all the issues are still there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But you won the game.
Yeah. But
you did.
It
So
completely changes the narrative, right? Okay, so Kent in Battle Creek said, is Butler on the sidelines or up in the booth? He's down on the sidelines. Would it be beneficial if he went up to the booth at least for a couple games to kind of get a better look at the whole scheme of things? I don't necessarily think so. I mean, Tony White was on the sideline the entire time he was here. I mean, there's a lot of defensive coordinators that like to be on the sideline.
I can't think of many defense coordinators, if at all, in college football that are up in the booth. I think you have some position coaches that are up in the booth, but maybe some offensive coordinators that like to be up there. But even that's pretty rare now. I feel like play callers are more on the field.
It's just a lot easier for him to
you could see
communicate.
A lot more.
I mean, and I think that's he will communicate with the different position groups on certain things, and so it's a lot harder to do if you're up in the booth, because then you're playing telephone.
You'd have to have them put a headset on, and you want to go up to the guys and talk to them yourself, make real-time adjustments.
Yeah, and I think they probably both kind of got their guys up there that they really trust. And Satterfield's up in the booth for the offense. Not sure who else is up there for defensive, but they got lots of guys up there that are.
I'm not sure. I think Phil Snow's up in the booth.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Because Damon had mentioned he saw him in the bathroom at halftime. Yep. So I think Phil Snow's, and that's a guy who's with DC in the NFL. So that's a good guy to have up there who's going to, you're going to get trusted information with him up there. Exactly. He's going to have a good eye.
And Butler is raved about having him out there. I think most of the guys do. But I think all of the position coaches on defense are on the sideline. So you've got Williams, Braden.
Not sure about Simpson.
Simpson's down there on the sideline.
Okay.
And Dvorak. So all the position coaches for the defense are down on the sideline. For the offense, it's all of them. Riola, Shorts, Barthel. The one position coach that's not is Satterfield. He's up in the booth.
Yeah, so Thomas goes through a lot of the tablet information with Dylan.
Yeah, they communicate, and every now, like not every series, but Holgerson comes over and goes through things with them on the iPad, but they immediately sit down and go through everything, and so that communication's constant there with and even the other quarterbacks, like Gramps will go behind, TJ's on the other side, and so they're all kind of a part of that communication as well.
Look, if they need to fix it, they will. If they feel like some guy's better off in the booth, or if Coach Butler thinks he's better off getting a bird's eye view, then they'll do it. But they don't feel like that's going to give them the best option to win.
All right, going to get to a break. Coming up on the other side of this, our final segment here on this Monday night edition and our weekend winners. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Experience exceptional quality and lasting value at Woodhouse Toyota. Lease the 2025 Toyota Camry LE forward-wheel drive for $349 a month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year. Visit us in-store off Highway 281 in Grand Island or online at woodhousetoyota.com. Woodhouse Toyota. Let's go places. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. Security deposit waived. $2,499 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number GT250285. Offer expires September 30th, 2025. See dealer for details.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
When Second's making a play, Short's got it covered.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Let's get a good hustle, good hustle. Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage.
It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. 1, 2, 3, Wildcats!
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
See Shelter Agent John Austin in Fairbury, Rhonda Miller in Alliance, or Stephanie Culver in Holdridge today.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly, final segment here on this Monday night edition of the show. Kyle Crooks, I'm Jessica Coody. Brady David also here helping us out tonight. It's time for our weekend winners. Brady, you can go first.
Yeah, I got the Cleveland Guardians, which hurts me as a Royals fan, but they were 9.5 games back 10 days ago, and they won 10 games in a row. They're only 1 game back now. Detroit went 1-9, so kind of crazy flip there. Detroit had a 9.5 game lead, down to just 1.
Wow, nice.
Choke job from Detroit.
David? Sorry.
All right. No, you're good. I'm going to the WNBA with Asia Wilson. She got the 4th WNBA MVP, which is a new record. So she's making big steps in the WNBA, as always.
I like it.
I actually called a game my first year at Florida against Asia Wilson. The Gators almost beat Asia that year.
Wow.
It was close game, but they did. My weekend winner.
Why do you get to go next?
Okay, that's a good point. It's very, very presumptive by me.
You can go.
I don't want to go.
Okay, I'm going to give it up to Huskers soccer.
Okay.
We haven't had a chance to talk about them. This 2 hours flew by, but Brady had it in the ticker. They go to Penn State, and we were on the air when they had the last-minute goal to tie it. So end up in a draw at Penn State, which is a top 10 team on the road, not easy to do. And then they follow that up at Ohio State on Sunday and have 0-0 shot, nil-nil.
Nil-nil
shutout. So another tie, and so they still are unbeaten. And those were 2 big. I know. Look, it's not a win, but still, it's not a loss. And on the road against top 25 teams, that's really, really great for them. And they're back at home coming up on Thursday. Hounds at Hibner, one of my favorite nights of the year. When
Sunny going out?
I'm going to try. We have a show that night, but I'll try to make it out there with her. Maybe I'll have to bring her to the studio first so we can stop by on the way. But where they bring the dogs, like the Bark at the Park. So it's coming up on Thursday night. Hounds at Hibner. And lots of cool things that are going on. You can get free dog gear and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have more information coming up on that.
Perfect. It's my time to go?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. I'm going to go for the second time. Daniel Jones, unbeaten for the Super Bowl winning Indianapolis Colts. My man has turned into the NFL MVP through 3 games. He's completed 72% of his passes.
I'm really hoping for your sake they can continue to be your Monday weekend winners.
Makes it easy for me.
So you can just stick with that every single week.
You know what? Daniel Jones has turned into everything the Giants had hoped he would be. And I guess he just needed to leave New York and head to Indianapolis, and no controversy like we thought in the beginning because Anthony Richardson got benched, a high draft pick. Daniel Jones, the solver of many problems in my life. MVP, Super Bowl champs, it's all coming.
It's all headed your way. We're speaking it into existence. Okay, so final minute left, and did want to make a couple of announcements. So Danny Busboom Kelly's show, our weekly volleyball show, will be moved to the 7 o'clock hour tomorrow. If you have those texts and you want John Baylor to give those questions to DBK, send them in on our text line 402-413-2400. They will be, of course, in that 7 o'clock hour, because in the 6 o'clock hour, it's time for our monthly check-in with the athletics director. Troy Dannon will be here. Kyle will sit down with him in that 6 o'clock hour. He'll be here live in studio. It feels like you just talked to him, but
I know,
this
it
month,
moves quick.
Flew by.
Moves quick.
So you'll chat with the AD coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk about kind of the home slate, fall season so far, so be good.
And no show for us Wednesday because Husker Volleyball will be on the air, so I'll be back, and we'll be back with a full 2 hours of Sports Nightly coming up on Thursday night here on the Huskers Radio Network. But a big 2 hours headed your way tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly with the Volleyball Show and the AD Show. Thanks to David and Brady and Kyle. I'm Jessica. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Step into a new era of luxury at Infinity of Omaha. Browse our inventory and enjoy special financing and limited time offers happening now. Receive a retail bonus of $8,000 on all 2025 Infinity QX60 models. Visit our showroom or shop online today at infinityofomaha.com. With approved credit, tax title license extra, $299 doc fee due at signing. VIN number SC333661. Offer expires September 30th, 2025. See dealer for details.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
Over the last few years, we've redefined what working remotely means, and so is the Ford F-150. Bring your desk wherever you go with an available flat interior work surface. Drop down the available tailgate work surface to get it all done. And plug in what you need outside the cab with available Pro Power on board. How's that for upping your productivity? Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Get F-150 for 0.9% plus $3,250 cash, or lease one for $499 a month and 0 down. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org